Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. Let's get to it. Listen, guys, I'm not going to waste any of your time. I'm going to get right to the meat and potatoes of this. I do not like the play-in tournament. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's a ploy. I think it's a sham. I'm just not interested in it at all. And the Charlotte Hornets last night showed why the play-in tournament is not necessary. It's not. Just like the San Antonio Spurs showed why the play-in tournament is not necessary. Even New Orleans also showed why the play-in tournament is not necessary. That Charlotte Hornet team, that is not even a contender. That is not a playoff team. The way Ball came out and played last night, he just looked out of sorts. He looked like a deer in headlights. Now, Trae Young didn't look good early, but he eventually got it together. But we could start the conversation with the way this whole thing started. I mean, the bus that the Charlotte Hornets was on got caught at the train tracks, and they had to get off the bus and they had to walk from the train tracks to the arena. So that was a premonition of what was going to happen. Then they get out there and they completely just get dismantled. Atlanta had their way with them. Trae Young, his ability to play make, his ability to pass the basketball, he didn't shoot it very well. No, he didn't. But he did all the other things clearly better than Ball. He outplayed Ball in every other way, and it wasn't close. That Charlotte team just doesn't look to me at all like a playoff, not even a contender. They don't look like a legit playoff team at all. Now, I said this in the past that I looked at them like I look at Minnesota, where having D'Angelo Russell in the lineup, right? Having D'Angelo Russell in the lineup makes them much better because he gives them, having D'Angelo Russell in that Minnesota lineup makes them so much better. He gives them that floor spacer that they didn't have. He gives them that distributor, that scorer, that point guard that they didn't have, that element that they didn't have. He gives them that. Well, the same goes with Charlotte. Not having Gordon Hayward in the lineup, that really hurt them. And that wouldn't be an issue if this wasn't the theme moving forward. But same thing happened last year. The exact same thing happened last year. The exact same thing happened last year with him. And is it time to say that it's time for Gordon Hayward to move on? But I mean, Jordan already paid him. But did they make a mistake with him? Because, yeah, he's 16, 17 a game, and he gives them that vet leadership, but he's not available. Not available. He's only played, I think he's played 94 games in the last 2 years. That's 47 games a season. That's barely half the season that he's played. And if you're gonna be serious as a playoff team, if you're gonna be serious, number one, your guys got to be healthy for us to even take you seriously. And they're not. The Charlotte Hornets are not a playoff team. Not even a contender. They're not a serious playoff team. So this watching them last night, they just looked out of sorts. They looked like a deer in the headlights. They couldn't really get anything going offensively. They were out of the game right from the beginning. And the difference with them in Cleveland and Brooklyn was that Cleveland actually got themselves back in the game. These guys, they just were there. They couldn't get anything going. They looked like a team that didn't belong there. That's what they look like to me. And this is just the further example of why I don't think the play-in tournament is necessary, because what you're doing is you're rewarding bad teams. We already got a play-in tournament, man. 82 games. You got 82 games to get into the playoffs. If you can't get into the playoffs in 82 games, you shouldn't be in the playoffs. It's that simple. Because when you got teams like Charlotte, who, if they would have beat Atlanta last night, even though I know that they're not a playoff team, now they got to go up against a Cleveland team who at one point was the second seed in the Eastern Conference, but got decimated by injuries and fought all season to get into the playoffs. And that's a legit playoff team. I look at that Cleveland team, that's a legit playoff team. I look at Atlanta. I don't know if Atlanta was a legit playoff team last year. This year, they've fallen off, but Trae Young is just so good, man. He's so much better than people give him credit for. We went over what the All-NBA selections were, and I still have. I think Trae Young is an All-NBA performer. I'm having a difficult time keeping a guy who leads the league in scoring and assists total off the All-NBA team. He's almost 30-10. That's incredible. He's almost 30-10. But it shouldn't be a surprise considering his game translated. Well, what do you mean his game translated? Well, his one season that he played at Oklahoma, he led the country in scoring, led the country in assists. So his game translates. And that Atlanta Hawks team goes as he goes. Herter looked really good yesterday, knocking down open shots. RJ Hunter looks like he looks like he can become the guy that they drafted. That's who he looks like. He looks like if he could get that mid-range going, he looks like he's really good in transition. We already know who Capella is. Capella is a rim runner. Capella is a pick and dive guy. That's who he is. We all know that. And Gallo, considering how long he's been in the league, he's still serviceable. Still. I don't know if they could beat Cleveland, even though they've beaten Cleveland three to four times that they've played them. I think defensively, Cleveland is better. And they're going to get their rim protector back on Friday. So I think it's going to be a little different for them. And I think that they could handle Atlanta, even with their rim protector. I think that they can handle Atlanta. But this play-in tournament, man, I'm over it. I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't. I'm over it. I just don't think that I think it's a ploy. And I think that you're rewarding bad teams. This is the second year in a row that Charlotte's been in the play-in tournament and has gotten smoked. Gotten smoked, by the way. They didn't lose. They got smoked. So I'm over that. I watched that Clippers New Orleans team yesterday, and I tell you, man, that New Orleans offense with CJ, and a lot of people say that they're surprised with CJ. CJ averaged 20 a game with Dame. 20 a game, and he didn't do it one season or two seasons. He was good like that for a long time with Dame. So there was never any question that CJ could score the basketball. Never any question that CJ could score the basketball. He's definitely, now, him scoring 27 in the first half, I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but his ability to score was never really in question. Never really in question. When I watch Brandon Ingram, he kind of reminds me of a more athletic version of Glenn Rice. How he can get to the basket, his mid-range, his ability on the box with his turnaround. Offensively, he reminds me a lot of Glenn Rice. That's what I see when I look at him. Now, I'll tell you what, man. This kid Herb Jones, who he's going to play in the NBA for a long time. And the reason why he's going to play in the NBA for a long time is simply because Herb Jones does what everybody doesn't want to do. And that's why he's going to be in the NBA. He's going to play 12 years. Barring any health issues, he's going to play 12, 15 years. Because he does, and not only does he do what everybody else does, he does what everybody else doesn't want to do effective. I think he's third amongst rookies in steals. And he's in the top 10 in every other, and he's in the top 10 in every other category. So when you look at a guy like him, you absolutely need him. He's going to get poached at some point away from New Orleans. The problem that I'm having with this New Orleans team, and I'm going to just come out and say it, I'm watching Zion Williamson in warm-ups. Why isn't he in the lineup? What is the problem? Why is he not playing? This dude is doing one-step windmill dunks. He's crossing over and doing 360s. Why is he not playing? What is the problem? Because it just, number one, you're going to lose him. You are going to lose him. He's going somewhere else. So before he walks out the front door, how about this for an idea? How about you put him on the floor and you make him more tradable? And that's going to give you assets as opposed to him just walking out the front door and you get nothing for him. But instead, you just sitting him and you've wasted a season. Completely wasted a season. I think they got a good shot against the Clippers, but I think that the Clippers ultimately handle them. I do. And as tough as New Orleans is, I think that the Clippers handle them. I think that the Clippers just have a little too much in the end. Not throughout the game, but in the end, I think that the Clippers have just a little too much for them. And I think that they'll be the victors in that game. You know, anything could happen in a one-game series, but in that game. I watched that New Orleans team last night against San Antonio, and San Antonio just looked. Oh, and I love DeJounte Murray and Lonnie Walker. I love those two guys. I'm not sure that Pop is going to continue, but this team moving forward, I think you got your backcourt of the future. I'm not really sure about, as much as I love Lonnie Walker, I'm not sure about him going forward, but I think you got your backcourt of the future. I think you do. I'm not sure, but I think you do. So it's going to be real interesting to see this New Orleans team and how they do against the Clippers. But I think that the Clippers handle them. So, but I'll keep you guys posted. So you know where to find me. So until then, take it light, but take it.